Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish, speaking to you from Midtown Manhattan, New York City. Bennett Doyle back in Memphis, producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you didn't fall asleep after 3 quarters last night between the Grizzlies and the Thunder, or maybe I hope you did. Either way, here's my point. If you fell asleep after 3 quarters, you probably were a little confused by the final score, because everything that happened in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter suggested we might be in for a fantastic finish. Not so much. Fourth quarter got away from the Grizzlies. So it's another loss to the Thunder. 0-4 against OKC this season. Big homestand on tap. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. Matt Moore covers the NBA for the Action Network. He's going to join me in about 20 minutes, and I'll talk to him about a variety of things, including, of course, the Memphis Grizzlies. Matt Moore at HP Basketball on X. He'll be here in the next segment. Finish talking to Matt. Go take a break. Come back. Do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, the 2025 NCAA Tournament restarted last night. Had games in Newark and San Francisco. John Calipari's Arkansas Razorbacks blew a 16-point lead, lost to Texas Tech in overtime. We'll spend some time on that in about 40 minutes. Tonight, 4 more Sweet 16 games going to take place. 4 games, 8 teams, half of them from the SEC, including Ole Miss and Tennessee. I'll get you ready for tonight's NCAA games. We're going to do that a little later on in the show. Will Smith has dropped his first full-length solo recording project in 20 years. It's called Based on a True Story. I bet he's not going to like the reviews. I'll tell you what folks are saying about it. We'll do that in just a bit. MLB's opening day here in the United States was held yesterday. Baltimore's Tyler O'Neill, congratulations, Bennett, made history. Boom, indeed. We'll show it to you. We'll do that in the second hour. And a police chief in New Jersey is being sued by 5 employees over some disturbing allegations. I'll tell you what this fella is accused of doing. We're going to do that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out, and then we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because Game 73 of a scheduled 82, it was played last night in Oklahoma City. It was a 2-point game after 3 quarters, but a 21-point game after 4 because the Grizzlies were outscored 34-15 in the fourth quarter. Final score, OKC 125, Memphis 104. That means the Grizzlies will finish 0-4 against Oklahoma City in this regular season. 0-4 with losses by 24 points. 13 points, 17 points, and 21 points. The gap between first and fifth in the West, it's vast. Big Bet Bennett, what'd you make of that 34-15 fourth quarter? That was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that again, like you said, I thought they played well through 3 quarters. It was a competitive game, and then kind of more of what we've seen recently reared its ugly head, just turnovers, man. Turnovers, and when you turn the ball over against that team, they score. They capitalize off your turnovers every time, and it's exactly what happened. Also, I mean, you know, you're not going to win games when Desmond Bane scores 3 points. That's just, especially with Ja out like that. He just had a bad night last night, and they need obviously way bigger production from him to be able to win a game like that. So, you know, it's hard for me to sit here and say, because I know that there was some positivity from last night. Still, a 21-point loss, like, it's hard for me to come in here and be like, well, I mean, they played well through 3 quarters. It's just kind of is what it is. They got a big home stretch coming up, and I'm looking forward to that.
It seemed like a classic regular season NBA game where one team is obviously better than the other and decides to settle things when it's time to settle things. All right, we've played around long enough. Let's go finish this. And they go out and finish it 34-15 to improve to Oklahoma City, 4-0 against the Grizzlies this season. Enough about that. Let's look ahead. Grizz are now 44-29 on the season, tied for 5th in the West with the Lakers. LA's record, 44-29. Grizzlies' record, 44-29. And they're tied heading into a game against each other this weekend after the Lakers lost last night at the buzzer in Chicago. Did you see the end of this game?
Dude, it was insane, honestly. And we needed a break, man. We needed to catch a break with one of these teams. And, yeah, that's about as good as it gets for catching a break. That's an unbelievable finish.
Crazy finish. The Lakers have had interesting finishes the past couple of nights. LeBron at the buzzer 2 nights ago after appearing on the Pat McAfee show. And then last night, the Lakers get caught at the buzzer. Here's the deal. So Lakers are up 5 with 10.2 seconds left. Patrick Williams makes a 3, cuts that lead to 2. Then the Lakers, specifically LeBron, turn it over. Kobe White makes a 3. That puts Chicago up 1 with like 6 seconds left. Then Austin Reeves on the other end scores, puts the Lakers back up 1 with 3.1 seconds left. And then Josh Giddey, that guy, sank a 46-footer at the buzzer to end things 119-117. So now the Lakers and Grizzlies have identical records, 44-29, and those two teams with identical records now are going to play each other Saturday night inside FedEx Forum. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com. Bennett, on a scale of 1 to 7, that's the way we scale things around here. How big is this tomorrow night? How big is this homestand coming up? It really is an incredible homestand with stars all over the place, historically accomplished franchises all over the place.
It's a massive game. It's a massive homestand. It's, I believe, Lakers, Celtics, Warriors, the next 3. I feel like you really have to get one. I feel like you really got to get one of those. And you really want it to be this Lakers game coming up on Saturday. And maybe, we'll see with Ja. There was some positivity yesterday from DeMichael Cole. I saw him, Taylor Jenkins said that Ja's day-to-day and that they're trying to get him to be able to run full speed on that hamstring. So that was really positive. I mean, hopefully they see him on this upcoming 3-game homestand because, like you said, dude, it's really big. It's really big.
You set the bar lower than me. I don't want to get 1. I'd like to get 3, and I prefer 2.
I would too. But, I mean, just the way things have been going lately, Those are pretty good teams.
It really is an incredible homestand, high-stakes games against high-profile opponents. You had it right. It's a 3-game homestand against 3 of the biggest, if not the 3 biggest, franchises in the NBA, and certainly some of the sport's biggest stars. On Saturday, you get LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Los Angeles Lakers in town. Then on Monday, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, NBA champion Boston Celtics in town. Tuesday, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Golden State Warriors in town. Just in terms of accomplished franchises and stars, it has to be one of the best 3-game homestands, particularly when you highlight that the games are meaningful, important, are going to dictate where the Grizzlies are sitting in the Western Conference standings after 82 regular season games. When you factor in all of that stuff, you could, I think, reasonably argue this is one of the best, most interesting, biggest 3-game homestands like in the history of the franchise. Lakers, Celtics, Warriors. Combined championships, Bennett. Let's do a trivia time.
Oh, combined championships. Okay.
Lakers, Celtics, Warriors. Combined NBA championships.
Dude, I'm not going to even come close. I'll say 50?
It's relatively close.
Is that way 42. Too low? 42. Okay.
It's 42. But these are the franchises that have the most. 42 combined championships. The Celtics are first all-time with 18. The Lakers are second all-time with 17. The Warriors are third all-time with 7. So that's what you have coming into town over the next few days. LeBron James going to be here as the NBA's all-time leading scorer and as a 4-time MVP. Steph Curry going to be here as the NBA's all-time leading 3-point shooter and a 2-time MVP. Finals MVP Jaylen Brown going to be here. 6-time NBA All-Star Jason Tatum going to be here. Just a star-studded 4-day stretch with 3 games that will provide star power and likely determine on some level where the Grizzlies end up seated in the Western Conference playoffs. But when you get into those conversations, obviously first is out of reach, but everything else remains on some level in play. Do you care so much about 2, 3, 4, 5, or is it simply got to stay in the top 6? I don't care where in the top 6, just got to stay in the top 6.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely at the point where it's just the way that things have gone lately. I just stay in the top 6. I think it's going to be tough to. I mean, I don't know, man. That 4-5. I mean, it does look like we're on a crash course with the Lakers. I'll just say that. Like that's if you're going to put money on who they're playing first round of the playoffs, that's probably it. I would like. I told you a couple weeks ago. I do think having home court in the first round is more important for this team than some of these other teams that are in the top 6 in the West. But again, I think that you lose to the Lakers on Saturday. That's going to be closer and closer to out of reach, getting that top 4 seed. So huge game. I'd like to be top 4, but I'm cool with top 6.
You comfortable first round series with the Lakers? We got history with that franchise. They might have more championships. We got a little history with them.
I want to know Ja's status, right? Which again, it looks like it's trending positive. I wouldn't say I feel great about it. No, I mean I've told you multiple times. I think Luka's the best player in the league. They obviously have LeBron, so when just with those two guys, I think they're flawed for sure. I think the Lakers are flawed. I think there's things that the Grizzlies can expose, but at the end of the day, those two guys, that's a tough task.
Here's what we're gonna do: first round series with the Lakers. If we win it, that's awesome. If we lose it, it's fine. You know what we do then? Start a Fire Nico chant inside FedEx Forum.
You want to do that? Okay.
Yes,
I'm down for that.
Either Ja is healthy Desmond Bane is making shots. Jaren Jackson Jr. is impacting winning on both ends of the court, and the Grizzlies eliminate the Lakers in the first round of the 2025 playoffs, assuming that is the matchup. Either that happens, or very quickly into the series, we start a Fire Nico chant inside FedEx Forum. That's not reserved for Dallas. Dallas gets to chant Fire Nico for obvious reasons. He gave away a generational talent for a banged-up older player. It's still so stupid every time you think about it.
Damn.
It's still just the dumbest thing in the world. But it didn't just hurt Dallas. I mean, it ruined Dallas. It ruined the franchise and the morale of the city. But it didn't just hurt Dallas. It hurt all of us. And if the Grizzlies end up eliminated in the first round of the playoffs by Luka Doncic and the Lakers, we will start a Fire Nico chant inside FedEx Forum. Can you get on board with it?
I can get on board with that. Yeah, I can get on board with that. I mean, dude, honestly, like out of the top 6, I still think, I've always, I would, if you were going to say who would you take, who do you want to play? I'd still think I'd say the Rockets in the first round, just because of the lack of experience. I think that would be a very competitive series. So I think if you were going to ask me who I would take in a first round matchup if I could choose, I'd probably pick the Rockets. But like, Lakers might be second.
I'm trying to avoid worst case scenario. For me, worst case scenario is Dylan Brooks coming into FedEx Forum and eliminating the Grizzlies from the Western Conference playoffs.
Oh, you know that hurt me, man.
Whereas with the Lakers, you can eliminate LeBron James and Luka. That's big national, international headline grabbing stuff. So the positive, the upside of playing the Lakers is great. You get to eliminate the NBA. You could theoretically send LeBron James into retirement. All right, I don't think that's what's going to happen, but at some point he will retire, and it could be after this season. You could be the franchise that sends LeBron James into retirement, perhaps. That's the incredible upside. I like that.
You could hang a banner for that.
Hang a banner for it.
Retired LeBron.
Retired LeBron James. We did what Stephen A. Smith could not.
That's right.
We defeated LeBron James. Hang it in the rafters, all right? So the upside's obvious and undeniable, and then there's no real downside. Because if you lose to the Rockets, there's downside. You know what people are going to say? Well, you should have never let Dylan Brooks walk, and ABC, and this, that, and whatever.
Yeah, Steven Adams, right.
Yeah, all of it. But you know what we'll say if the Grizzlies lose to the Lakers?
It was LeBron and Luka. What are you going to do?
No. Bennett, we're trying to remove ourselves from responsibility here.
Okay.
If you lose to the Rockets, it's hard to remove yourself from responsibility. That is a franchise that is using some of your old players to be better than you. Okay?
Don't like that.
We're going to have to talk about that a little bit, all right? So I'd rather not deal with that. But if we lose to the Lakers and people start looking at us like, how did you lose to the Lakers? Whose fault is that?
Nico's.
Fire Nico.
Fire Nico.
If we win, we take the credit. If we win, we take credit. And hang a banner, perhaps. If we lose, we blame it on Nico. This is easy.
I like this plan. We got to get there first, though, dude. We got to get there first.
Bring me the Lakers. First tomorrow night, and then in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, my God.
If it goes well, you eliminate LeBron James and Luka Doncic. If it doesn't go well, you blame Nico Harrison.
Okay.
This is the type of stakes I like. If I win, it's good, and if I lose, I just blame somebody else. I've been doing that for a while. Matt Moore's up next.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
This team is doing everything that Taylor Jenkins and his coaching staff envisioned it could do.
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the Forum rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A big three. Yes, sir! Desmond Bain with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
We are in March, which is Women's History Month.
True.
And we were talking about how do we kick off the show? What can we talk about? And we were like, why don't we talk about women's shoes? The Sabrina one. Okay.
Can't go
good,
wrong.
right?
That's a good shoe.
And the two, you could argue, is even better. But the one's
you can't
fine.
have the two without the one.
Yeah.
Though.
In the month of February, the Sabrina 2 was the second most worn shoe in the NBA in minutes played. The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. Bennett Doyle back in Memphis, inside the Built Ford Tough studio, producing the program. And joining me now is the incredible Matt Moore from the Action Network. You can subscribe. I'm a subscriber. ActionNetwork.com. He's on Twitter /X at HP Basketball. It's Matt Moore here right now. Matt Moore is Gary Parrish. How you doing, man? It's good to see you.
Good, man. Good to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully. I appreciate you being here. A million things to talk to you about. I want to start by asking you a pretty broad question. Just give me an outsider's view of where the Memphis Grizzlies sit in your mind on March 28, 2025.
I think they're that college student that you're kind of like, you can do this. Like, you can get through this semester. Like, you could actually wind up with, like, really good grades, but you're going to have to put it together and stop not showing up to class and not taking notes. And, oh, by the way, you just like missed this exam. That's how I feel about Memphis, where it's like they are good. They have had a good season. They've dealt with a lot of adversity. And there's a lot of promising signs for them where I look at them and I'm like, I think that probably people are sleeping on them a little bit. I think there's been some overreactions to the slide over the last month or so. But they are still extremely tough, but they're going to have to put it together. And last night to me felt like a perfect example of this, right? Like, no Ja, Desmond can't hit the way that he needs to be able to hit in these type of games. They get a great, I thought, great performance from Jaren, but it's not like they're within that range. They're hanging and then a 15-0 run to end the game, where it's like, if they can just put it together, I do think this team is better than the sum of its parts. I think that there's a whole that's greater, but they got to get some sort of synergy where everything comes together. And that's tough when you haven't shown that you know how to execute that you're basically hoping that luck kind of brings it together in a series. I don't think that that's outside of the question, but I do think that there's so much that they're capable of that they haven't been able to ever really tap into this season.
And how much of that is just the big three, so to speak, is so infrequently all healthy at the same time? Right now, it's Ja Morant, who has missed a 6th straight game with a hamstring injury of some kind. It was initially described as soreness. Now it's a strain. How much of the issues facing them is just that it's hard to figure it all out when the people you need to figure it all out just aren't on the court that often together?
I'm less sympathetic to that just because, look, every single team in the league, not every single team, most, say 27 out of 30 are going to have these type of limitations. Every single, I listen to these press conferences and every coach is like, we've only had our starters for 12 games this season. We've only had our starters for 20 games this season. And it's like, look around you, Helen. Like, this is where we're at, right? Like, this is just kind of how it goes. And so I do kind of believe that the best teams have instilled discipline, scheme, execution, and mindset to survive. Like, on the other hand, it's like, look, if you're missing these guys that are this amount of the percentage of your cap, that's just a huge talent deficit that you have to kind of get through. But I think my thing with Memphis, though, is what I like about them is their versatility. I like their depth. I like the way that they are able to put together different lineups, different looks, different combinations. Now, one of the problems, I think, is that they've lost some of that as the season has gone on due to first trades. And then I think BC's injury is just brutal. It just sucks in every single type of way. But you still need to be able to kind of show that there's this baseline and a floor that you don't ever really drop from. And that's been, I think, what's been, as much as I think the last month is more late season doldrums and a bad stretch rather than it is a defining characteristic, the floor probably just needs to be higher so that you don't have this month where it's like, hey, you're an elite defense. Oh, no, for this month, you're going to be 28th. Like, can't have that. Like, you just can't. You got to be better in those regards. So while I do think the injuries matter, I just don't think that they're the defining problem for them in trying to get this together.
Let's talk about Ja specifically. He is currently sidelined. He's stuck on 43 games played. It's rarely like the same thing that keeps him out of games, but it is often something that keeps him out of games. He is still the most popular athlete in Memphis by a significant margin. He's my son's favorite player. He's the jersey you see most often, but people do get frustrated with the lack of availability. What do you make of where Ja Morant sits in his career right now?
I think he had such a disaster season with the suspensions and everything, and then he gets back and then immediately suffers the injury, the shoulder injury, and then he comes back and now it's been kind of inconsistent. There's just been kind of like a lot of, he's forgotten at this point, I think, of the national discourse. Like, he's just kind of overlooked. It's like, yeah, no, Ja could be great, like, but he hasn't been in a long time. And you do kind of have to do it. It is a what have you done for me lately league, where it's like you got to show it every single night consistently in order to stay in that conversation. I'm hopeful that the playoffs will mean that we get the best from him. I think some of the comments earlier this season when he was talking about the frustration of being criticized for not playing on the back-to-backs, and he plays and has an awesome game, that kind of stuff, to me it shows that he's still very receptive to that criticism. He's still or sensitive, rather, I think is a better word, to that criticism. And he's battling between, I don't feel right, I can't execute and be myself when I don't feel right. Like, if you're as based off of athleticism as he is, in part because he missed all of this time to develop the less athletic parts of his game, to figure out how to operate pick and roll differently, to work through different coverages, to find solutions. Now, I think his passing this season has been marvelous. Like, he's such an underrated passer. He's such an amazing playmaker, and that gets really overlooked. But for him to be Ja Morant, and everyone's kind of been like, well, in the playoffs, if he can be Ja, and I'm kind of like, I don't know that that's happening this season. Maybe with a full off season, he gets stronger, gets healthy, everything, like, has a normal stretch of NBA life. Maybe that happens. But at this point, I'm kind of like, you get what you get from Ja, and you're just going to have to take it. But if they're going to go far, it's going to have to be Jaren.
Talking to Matt Moore from the Action Network. Last night, the Oklahoma City Thunder were the opponent. Tight game through three quarters. Then they pull away, as we noted. Just what do you make of OKC as they're sitting here right now with the favorite to win the MVP? They've got the best record in the NBA. There's a thought among some people in the NBA that there's a certain trajectory you have to take to a championship, and it doesn't go from being pretty good to like, boom, you're there and you're holding the trophy. But Oklahoma City, and I guess to some degree Cleveland, look like they both have the ability to at least go from, say, point D to point A. Do you see a possible champion when you look at Oklahoma City, Cleveland, and those franchises that haven't quite been there yet?
I definitely see a possible champion. Like I don't think you cannot be like, no, they're not going to do it. That is not a serious argument. You can be like, I'll believe it when I see it. It's like if you're saying that, you just haven't paid any attention. One of my favorite stats it's called SRS over at Basketball Reference, and it's just point differential versus strength of schedule. How much did you win by versus how tough were the opponents? The Thunder are on track for the best SRS in NBA history. The next 5 teams won the title. So the numbers are like absolutely. Now, if you ask me like, oh, so you think they're winning the title? I'm like, no, not so fast, my friend. Like, I worry about them from the perspective of the 2019 Bucks, where Giannis was a monster and he was an MVP. And there's a lot of parallels actually you can make for Shea as the guard MVP, as the guard Giannis. Great shooters around him, elite defense. But then you get into the playoffs and it's like all that you need is for wide open, good shooters to make shots. Nope. They just missed them all. Oh, Fred VanVleet had a kid, shot 48% from three-point range for 3 games. That's it. That's your season. It's done. I worry about that with OKC. A couple of worrisome trends for them is they give up the most corner threes in the league. You saw that last night. How many open corner threes did Memphis generate? It felt like 30 of them. And they don't shoot a good percentage on them. And some of that is OKC's closeouts. Some of that is luck. And so I think the Thunder are awesome. I think they're a legit title contender, but I can't go as far as they're as good as the numbers or records say from a playoff perspective. They're in the mix. They can't be established as the favorite. They can't be established as undeniable, especially I think in this Western Conference with as many bad matchups as I think lie in wait for them.
The Thunder are awesome. The Cavs are awesome. Luka is in L.A. Jimmy Butler is in San Francisco. Biggest story in the NBA is Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James. How did we get here?
ESPN bought the rights. Like, I mean, that's just like a lot of this is like there's one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot, Gary, is about the difference between when you have a TV partner, when you have a media partner, and the difference between when the media partner, how it used to be is, oh, they get the revenue from ads and they promote the league. And now it's the networks use the league to promote themselves. It's inside promoting itself. It's ESPN pushing its talent. I think that's where this comes from, is like they're building their brand because, you know, the revenue opportunities are so kind of multimodal now that there's all these different ways of doing it. To me, it's regrettable because there is such good basketball. Like there is really, and I get it, too many threes, and especially March is just a wonky month with all the guys out and resting and exhausted. But we've had like a really good season from a basketball perspective. Cavs, Thunder, Celtics, Cavs. Those games have all been amazing amongst those top elite teams. We had some really great games this season, some really great basketball, but we don't ever get to talk about it because it feels very much like everyone's reaching for the greatest common denominator. What's going to get you talked about in group chats amongst people that are casuals, rather than just trying to facilitate, hey, let's promote the game. Like if we just get back to that, I'm hopeful that changes next year with the new people involved in the new media deal.
Yeah, I keep hearing people discuss the Stephen A. LeBron thing and talking about who's winning and who's, you know, got the better shot in. And I look at it and I just sort of roll my eyes at the whole thing. Like, I don't think either one of these guys comes out looking great or even good. It should be beneath both of them to take it to this place. And the whole thing has just gotten weird. And like Stephen A. Smith has had to apologize on air 2 straight days for just being wrong about something. And as somebody who talks a lot for a living as well, I can just tell you that is a byproduct of he is wearing himself out. He is consumed with something and it's messing him up in other aspects of his job.
Yeah, and like he's had mistakes before with the NFL draft about having, or NFL, and just talking to NFL about getting various things wrong. I'm always like very interested in this because I've been in all-star availability rooms where Stephen A. Smith has walked into a room full of all-star players and they stop and change direction to come say hi and shake his hand. But that was like a decade ago. And it feels like something's really shifted with the relationships. And I think there's something shifted between the relationship with the players and not only just like the general media, but also the players and specifically this type of talking head perspective, as I use my head to talk here on camera. Like, I just think that there's like a shifting dynamic there that exists. I agree with you. Nobody looks good in this situation. It's like billionaire, 6'8", 250 athlete, intimidating, quote unquote, reporter, media personality, and then media personality getting like basic details wrong with a huge audience. But this is what people have voted with their eyeballs that they want. Like, this is what people have said that they want, and those of us that care about the league and love the basketball can scream all we want, but at some level, until we make the basketball side more compelling, which is I think the fight every day, we're still going to be left with these kind of storylines.
Last thing before I let you go, wrap it up with Matt Moore from the Action Network. Yesterday here in New York City, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver formally announced that they are exploring a Euro League. For people who aren't familiar with what that might look like, what that might mean, can you explain to us the impact that would make?
I mean, I think the best opportunity there is that it's an influx of money for more stable development pipelines for players that go undrafted. So there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of teams that are like, yeah, we love this guy, we just don't have room for him, or we can't make a spot, or I have to give this guy a contract because his agent's with my star or whatever. So it provides like this opportunity for these other guys to get a job and a more consistent opportunity. I also just think that it's the NBA's effort to really kind of continue expanding globally. And if you provide more content, you can find partners that want to provide the revenue opportunities, and that increases what they care about, which is the money. Like, they're just looking for as many ways to diversify as possible. It's interesting to me that this is kind of the new pivot. This has been mentioned previously that after the Celtics sale, it's going to be European expansion and it's going to be American expansion. We're going to get the Vegas and Seattle franchises in short order. And I don't know if the talent is there to hold that up. Some part of me thinks yes, part of me thinks no, but I think it'll be really fascinating to see how it works out if they can get these things off the ground.
That is Matt Moore from the Action Network. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe. I'm on the app every single day. ActionNetwork.com. That's ActionNetwork.com. You can follow him on X at HP Basketball. That's at HP Basketball. You're always the best, man. I forever appreciate your time. Thank you for being here.
Anytime for you, man. Take care.
All right. That's Matt Moore. ActionNetwork.com, ActionNetwork.com. When we come back, turn our attention to the NCAA Tournament. Fun night last night, 4 games in the Sweet 16. John Calipari's Arkansas Razorbacks had a 16-point lead. And then, tell me if you've heard this before, a team hit a 3 in the final 10 seconds to force overtime, and then it got away from the Razorbacks. We'll talk last night's tournament action, tonight's tournament action. We'll do that next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
We had big classic news from the Southern Heritage Classic last week when it was announced Arkansas Pine Bluff and Alcorn State will be the 2 Classic participants.
Being a part of the Classic is a big deal. It's the 3rd year for UAPB and the 1st year for Alcorn. So I'm just glad we were able to get it done.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on GrindCityMedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Bain, a pump fake, a 3, it's through for Desmond Bain. FBK, fly by King. Wheels through the lane, now spins back. Ja hangs, puts it in! Oh, what a shot by Morant in the clutch. So hot. Oh, Jerry said no!
Because he doesn't put on a play, comes up with a monster block.
Grammy, Academy, and Golden Globe Award-winning superstar, Mary J. Blige, live in Memphis. The For My Fans Tour, live at FedEx Forum Saturday, April 19th, with special guests Neo and Mario. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The iconic Mary J. Blige for one night only.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled. And Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
The 2025 NCAA Tournament resumed last night. We had games in Newark, just across the river here. Also had games out in San Francisco. The last game of the night was Arkansas and Texas Tech. And Bennett, I thought your Razorbacks had it in the bag. They were up 16 points on Texas Tech, a shorthanded Texas Tech team. And then they squandered it, found themselves up by 3 in the final seconds, and then Darian Williams hit a 3 with 9.7 left to tie the score, got it to overtime. Then Texas Tech outscored Arkansas 13-11 to win 85-83. John Calipari's first season in Fayetteville ends with a trip to the Sweet 16, but it should have been a trip to the Elite 8 at least if they had just held on. What'd you make of the Razorbacks squandering a blessed opportunity last night against, again, a shorthanded Texas Tech team?
You know, it felt like deja vu a little bit. I believe, I want to say that because I went back and looked actually, obviously the famous Chalmers for the tie that we talk about, you know, a couple times a year, right? That I believe there was like 10.5 seconds on the clock or something like that when Kansas inbounded the ball. So it was very similar. It was a very similar situation as far as do you foul, do you not foul, that we were asking, you know, that we ask all the time about that game. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, if I'm being honest. I lean more towards no, if I'm being honest. And I know that goes counter to what Memphis fans have said, what people say about that in general. I'm not for giving teams free points. Like, play good defense, you know?
I am a believer in foul up 3. I am not a believer that Arkansas messed up last night by not fouling up 3. I think sometimes people talk about this in a way that doesn't take into account the clock.
Right.
And the clock is a very important aspect of this. What every coach has told me, or at least most of the coaches I've had detailed conversations about the foul up 3 approach, what they have mostly told me over the years is that if you do it before 5 or 6 seconds is left, you're leaving too much time on the clock, and you're probably just going to have to go through this all again. In other words, if Arkansas would have, because Darian Williams took the shot with a little more than 10 seconds left. It went through with 9.7. If you were going to foul him up 3 before the act of shooting, you would have probably had to do it with about 12, 11 seconds left, somewhere in there. But let me tell you what happens in that situation. It's not the traditional foul up 3 situation that you're used to watching that you think you're creating. because if you foul with 11 seconds left, Texas Tech's down 3. Grant McCaslin's going to tell Darian Williams to go to the free throw line and do what? Make them both. Don't make one, miss one. Let's just make them both.
No, we got time to play it out.
Now we're going to make them both. It's a 1-point game. They're going to inbound. We're going to try to steal, we're going to try to steal. If we can't steal, we're going to try to trap, turn it over. If we can't steal or trap and turn it over, now we're going to foul, stop the clock again. Let's say we've now got 9 seconds left, 8 seconds left. Let's call it 8. Now they're going to the other end. They need to make 2 to even get back to a situation where they can foul up 3. If we've made our 2, then they've got to make 2 just to get it back to foul up 3. There's so many variables involved if you foul too early that it is not the smart thing to do. So 2008 national championship game, that clock was ticking down. That clock got under 6. And Memphis was in a position to foul if it wanted to, and for whatever reason, either didn't want to or didn't execute it, depending on who you believe. But last night, the only way to, quote, foul up 3, keep in mind, by definition, Texas Tech didn't have the ball anymore with 10 seconds left. It was in the air, headed. So you had to foul before that. And if you foul before that, you're just extending the game. You're drawing it out in a way that doesn't actually create the foul up 3 scenario that so many people were screaming about last night. So mistake in 2008, I don't think it was a mistake last night. And one of the reasons Darian Williams shot the ball early is because of the foul up 3 approach. Like, all of this stuff is connected, because you know what coaches are now teaching in practices in late game situations? If we are down 3 and we think we could find ourselves in a foul up 3 situation in the final seconds, we know that the other team doesn't want to foul us early, but will want to foul us late. So what are we going to do? You ready for this? Shoot early.
Yeah.
Let's shoot early. You see people willing to take shots from 5 feet behind the three-point line to get a clean look, and you see them willing to shoot early so that they aren't in a position where the other team is even thinking about fouling them now. That defender in that moment is in his head thinking, don't foul too early, don't foul, don't foul. I know he's not fouling me. Let's get this shot up now. If I wait another 4 seconds to try to get this shot up, well, then they're just going to foul me and send me to the free throw line. But right now, I can get a clean look. So let's take the clean look. Like, all of it's connected. I didn't think that was a mistake by John last night. Elsewhere in the sport, Alabama. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the egregious thing to me was leaving the timeout on the table in overtime, because when Darian Williams hits that shot, there's still 7 seconds left on the clock. Like, you have time to draw something up with 7 seconds, even if you got to go full court. Like, I would have called a timeout there. Yeah.
I do think that's one where John messed up.
Yeah.
And the way he explained it afterwards is, we're going to take the ball out of the net and we're going to go. We're downhill. I've got the ball in an athlete's hands, and I'm just going to let that play out, as opposed to call the timeout. Now I got to worry about what they're going to do. They're trying to figure out what we're going to do. We're allowing them to get the proper people in the game when otherwise they couldn't make any substitutions, and I'm just going to let that play out. I agree with that sentiment, all of it. I agree with all that. There is a moment, though, where as the coach, you got to, in split seconds, see what's happening. There was a game this regular season involving Michigan where Matt Norland and I talked about this at length after it happened. Very similar situation. Michigan is going to just let it play out. Dusty May's letting the game play out in the final seconds. Same type of thing. We're going the other way, full court. You could call a timeout and set something up, or let it play out. He was letting it play out. But then his player got into an awkward situation, a lot like DJ Wagner got into last night, and he recognized this is not playing out the way I need it to. Yeah. Timeout, timeout, timeout. In other words, what Dusty did was, I would prefer to let this play out. But if it's not playing out the right way and I can get a timeout with 3 or 2 seconds left, I'm going to use it then. I'm going to give my players an opportunity to end this here. But if I see it getting uncomfortable for them, that's when I'm going to step in and call this timeout, and now we'll reset. John just chose not to even try to reset. And I think that was a mistake. Dusty nailed that moment in that regular season game. I want to let it play out, but if I don't see what I like, we're calling the timeout. John said, I want to let it play out, couldn't have possibly seen what he liked, but still let it play out. And they got up an awkward, bad shot at the buzzer, and Texas Tech advances. Arkansas's done. So if you want to criticize John Calipari for last night, that's where to do it. End of overtime, not end of regulation. Elsewhere around the sport, Alabama bombed BYU. My God. 25 of 51 from three.
It's exactly what you said. Yeah, like we were both like, I think BYU wins this, and you were like, unless Alabama comes in and hits 1,000,000 3-pointers, and that's exactly what happened.
Dude, they recognized very early that BYU was just going to go under screens, and they just let it fly every time.
Yep.
They took 51 threes. Everybody complains about three-point shooting in the NBA. Too many threes. Check this out. Alabama took 51 threes in a 40-minute game last night and only 15 twos. 51 threes and 15 twos. They made 25. That smashed the record for made three-pointers in an NBA tournament game. Previous record was 21, set by Loyola Marymount in 1990. Alabama makes 25 last night. Mark Sears made 10. He was 5 of 35 from three in Alabama's previous 6 games, and then comes out last night and just bangs home 10. So incredible performance from them, like a historically great offensive performance from Alabama. First team to score more than 110 points in an NCAA tournament game since 2008, North Carolina. So they were historically awesome on a lot of different levels. And they did it to a BYU team that entered 11-1 in its previous 12 games with a lone loss to Houston. You could date back 6 weeks, and the top 4 teams in the country over the past 6 weeks before last night's game were number 1 seed Houston, number 1 seed Duke, number 1 seed Florida, and BYU. Those were the 4 best teams in the country for the past 6 weeks, and Alabama beat them by 25 points last night, bombing them from beyond the arc. So they advance. We will get Alabama-Duke on Saturday in a regional final because Duke got past Arizona 193. Cooper Flagg was awesome again. 30 points, filled up the box score in every way, impacted winning on both ends. I don't know that he's actually wrapped up National Player of the Year. Let's see what Janai Broome at Auburn does later tonight. But if I had to submit a ballot right now, my vote would go to Cooper Flagg. And then in the other game, it was Florida 87, Maryland 71. Gators get past Maryland and likely ended Kevin Willard's run at College Park. He was once again asked about his future last night. More or less said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but like I said on Inside College Basketball, he certainly sounded like a man who knows what he's going to do. Barring a surprise, he will, at some point in the next 48 hours, be named the next head coach at Villanova.
Number 2.
4 more NCAA tournament games tonight, 4 more Sweet 16 games tonight. The first one to tip off 6:09 in the Central Time Zone. It's Ole Miss and Michigan State. They're doing it down in Atlanta. Bennett, it's the SIP. It's the SIP. The SIP's in action tonight, trying to go to the Elite Eight for the first time in school history. Can you support the SIP? I'm trying to support the SIP.
Yeah, I think I could get behind them maybe before I could get behind that Orange team. I think I could probably get behind them. I like the Spartans, though, man. I like the Spartans. You know, I'm a Spartan myself, a White Station Spartan.
I know you are.
And so I've always liked the Spartans just because I like that green. I like that Spartan green. I like Tom Izzo. I mean, he's a legend, right? You know, he's a legend.
He is, sure, yes.
This is a good game, though. Yeah, this is a good game. I can root for Ole Miss. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll do it.
If we both acknowledge that our heart is with the Tigers and forever will be. We both can acknowledge our heart's with the Tigers. But once the Tigers are removed from things, if we have to root for another regional team, you find it easier in your own heart to root for the Ole Miss Rebels than it would be for you to root for the Tennessee Vols. Is that what you're saying to me?
I think so, just because they, like, I mean, I hate calling any team in the SEC an underdog, but in the grand scheme of the SEC, they are the underdog, right? Like they always have been. So I like rooting for the underdogs, I guess. Yeah, I mean that's cool. I mean, when was the last time Ole Miss went to an Elite Eight? Have they ever been?
Never.
I was gonna say, yeah. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I can get behind it. Yeah, and Matthew Morrell, like we got some Memphis interest on that team. So yeah, I can get behind it. Yeah.
Ole Miss never been to an Elite Eight, so got a chance to make history tonight. Chris Beard, first coach to ever win 30 games at Little Rock. Then he goes to Texas Tech, becomes the first coach to ever take Texas Tech to the Elite Eight, first coach to ever take Texas Tech to the Final Four, first coach to ever take Texas Tech to a national title game, and now he has a chance to be the first coach to ever take Ole Miss to the Elite Eight. When you are doing unprecedented things at multiple schools, it underlines that you are an amazing coaching talent. He's an incredible coaching talent. I was asked last night on Inside College Basketball, because we're just feeling like 3 hours. That show last night, just such a weird show. We're like literally on TV while the games are going on, taking press conferences live, and just it almost feels like a podcast. It doesn't even feel like television. Mm-hmm. You're out there podcasting on TV. So I was asked last night, GP, how surprised would you be if Ole Miss upset Michigan State? Not at all. Not at all. Like, Ole Miss is good. They're experienced. Mm-hmm. Yes, Tom Izzo is a legend. His Wikipedia page is got more bullet points on it than Chris Beard's. But Chris Beard is an elite college basketball coach, one of the very best as well. I give Ole Miss a chance, and like a real chance. I won't be surprised at all if they win the game. 6:09 Central. You better watch it on CBS, America's most watched network of stars. Also tonight, Kentucky, Tennessee. Winner advances to the Elite Eight. Great. Kentucky's actually 2-0 against Tennessee this season. Tennessee, though, 4.5-point favorite in the game. Auburn and Michigan, that's 8:39 on CBS. And then Purdue, Houston, 9:09 on TBS. So 8 teams in action tonight, 4 of them from the SEC. There is a scenario where you could have on Sunday 2 Elite Eight games. One of them could be Ole Miss against Auburn, 2 SEC teams, and the other one would be Kentucky or Tennessee against Houston or Purdue. So you could have 3 SEC teams in the Elite Eight in games just on Sunday, not to mention what you're already going to have on Saturday. Everything's still in play. We could still have an all-SEC Final Four. 4 more games tonight. Can't wait to watch them.
Number 3.
Will Smith has released his first solo recording project in more than 20 years.
Had no idea. Today. Yeah, no clue.
Oh, it's called Based on a True Story.
Okay.
And each track is supposedly based on a true story. 56 years old, Will Smith.
Damn.
Previously known as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. For people who are young, like this guy was, I'm hesitant to use, like, he was
the biggest star.
He was a big deal. You know?
Dude. That show was massive in the 90s, and then when his movie career started, like, he was like the biggest box office draw.
For sure. And he still, can star in movies. He won an Academy Award just a few years ago. But, like, before all of that, before he was slapping comedians on stages or winning Oscars, he was a rapper.
Yep.
And a wildly successful rapper. Now, if you turned it all on today, it would sound corny and cheesy. You'd be like, what? This is what you guys used to listen to? Like, if I tried to play the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or just the Fresh Prince albums, those old Will Smith albums, if I, put them on for my kids would laugh at it. They would, but whatever. Just
we were
understand
listening to God, what's it called? Because my kid loves Halloween. We were listening to it's like the Nightmare on Elm Street, Fresh Prince, DJ Jazzy Jeff song. Yeah, it's so good. I still like it.
I haven't thought about that in years, but I recall it now. So just know that once upon a time, this guy was a big deal in that world. None of it holds up, I don't think. You think some of it holds up?
Well, no, but when he came back and did Getting Jiggy With It and Welcome to Miami, like that album was huge. That was a big. Yeah, that one was huge. Bro, I wore out the Getting Jiggy With It CD single.
Even that though was a long time ago, Bennett.
That was a long time ago, yes.
It's 2025 and 56-year-old controversial Will Smith has decided to jump back into the hip-hop game. And it got me thinking about this specifically. Where do aging former rappers
go.
settle.
Yeah,
like where do you go? This is what I mean. Paul McCartney can still sell out stadiums as a former Beatle.
Yes.
Right? Pearl Jam could still do an arena tour tonight and play some stadiums throughout the country, throughout the world. Pop stars can still be massive deals as they age into their 50s and 60s. Madonna can do an arena tour in the year 2025, and it'll sell out, all over the world. But I'm not sure rappers can do that. Or at least I don't know that there's ever been proof that rappers can do that. Like, Nas is a legend. But if Nas tried to do
like an arena tour,
it's just like, what? Nobody would even, you're more likely to see Nas at like a club in Miami than you are selling out Bridgestone Arena. And so just is there ever going to be a world where a 60-year-old rapper can sell out a stadium based on the catalog he or she created once upon a time, the way the Rolling Stones can do it, the way Paul McCartney can do it, the way Bruce Springsteen can do it, the way Garth Brooks can do it? Can rappers ever do that? Think about who are the hip-hop icons, the people who sold 1 billion albums and everybody knows every word to these songs. You know who's a good example of that? Snoop Dogg. You want to see Snoop Dogg try to go do an arena tour? Can't do it. You are more likely to see Snoop Dogg at Minglewood Hall than you are at FedEx Forum.
Yeah.
And that guy put out albums and songs that everybody knows every word to, but at some point in that world, you can't operate anymore.
I think it's more along like I'm trying to think of like a good, what a decent example would be is like there's that Millennium Tour coming here to FedEx Forum that comes here all the time. And it's like Bow Wow and Omarion. They've got Plies and Boozy and Rick Ross. I think it works when you're doing like a big group like together. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's like the throwback tour and it's 5 different artists on a bill and they're playing at like NBA arenas around there, I think that works because there's a whole lot of nostalgia there, right?
Maybe that works, but this is just sort of highlighting my point. Bruce Springsteen doesn't have to call Paul McCartney and say, hey, if we got Mick Jagger together, maybe we could go fill up some arenas. Like they don't have to, like the Stones are like, no, we do this on our own. Bruce Springsteen's like, no, we do this on our own. Pearl Jam's like, no, we do this on our own. And aging rappers have to sort of team up and try to see if they can get 7 acts together to sell 12,000 seats. I don't know. It's just interesting. I don't know what the deal is. Like, one of the reasons we are taking our little guys to see Kendrick Lamar like next month is because I want them to have this memory and I want them to have this experience, because I don't know that seeing a 57-year-old Kendrick Lamar will be the same as seeing a 37-year-old Kendrick Lamar, because I don't even know that you can exist in the same ways where you matter at that age in that community. Like, you could see Paul McCartney at 60, and that was amazing. But I don't know that you'll even be in a position to see your favorite hip-hop artist when they're 60 years old, because there's no evidence that artists matter. In that genre of music, there's no evidence at all, unless I'm just missing something, that artists can matter deep into their 50s and 60s the way artists in other genres can matter.
I'm trying to look up stuff. Dude, like, Nelly's like one of the headlining artists on Saturday at Bonnaroo. You know, that's not nothing. That's pretty big. I wouldn't. Well, maybe not headlining. He's like the next tier. Yeah. But his name's in bigger letters. His name's in bigger letters than most of the artists playing on Saturday. Okay, it's like right next to Glorilla.
Okay, you ready? I bet but they're not in the biggest letters. All right.
It's not the biggest letters. All right.
It's not the biggest letter. And you ready? Nelly, perfect example. There was a moment in time where you couldn't go to a club without hearing Nelly. You couldn't get into a car without hearing Nelly. We all knew every word to those stupid songs. Mm-hmm. And he does not matter anymore. If Nelly was like, remember all those songs you all had great times with back in the late 90s, early 2000s, or whenever that was, I'm back, and I'm going to be doing those songs in stadiums all over the world. We would laugh at him. We'd be like, why, bro? Nobody wants that. It doesn't work the same way. I don't know why exactly. I just know it doesn't.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I mean, people are making the point. You mentioned Snoop Dogg. I think Snoop would do well at festivals, right? Like
again, I don't know how I can speak. Festivals are not what I'm talking about.
You're talking about arena tours. I got you.
And winning awards is not what I'm talking about. Like I see Lee in the chat, like Killer Mike won a Grammy at 50. I love Killer Mike.
But he's playing at Minglewood.
Yes. If Killer Mike comes to Memphis, he's playing at Minglewood.
That's true. Yeah.
I'll go see him. I'll be there, but that's where he'll be.
Yep.
Killer Mike is amazing. He will play Minglewood Hall.
Yeah. If Will Smith went on tour, went on an arena tour, would he be able to play at FedEx Forum? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I just wonder I wonder how he got to a place where he decided he wanted to do this. Like, God bless him. He said he reached out to Jay and reached out to Kendrick, and they gave him some advice. But this is not the genre where you could just pop in at the age of 56, drop an album, and it be well received. Like, it's very difficult to do. You know who might test this someday as I'm thinking through it? Who?
Eminem could maybe.
If he did a world tour.
If Eminem decided at the age of 55, I'm going to just
Who'd you say, Jalen? Who'd you say? No way. Jalen said Kanye, and there's no way.
The Kanye thing's done.
I just don't think anyway. Promoters wouldn't do it.
Let me tell you how I know the Kanye thing's done. He has an album out. I haven't listened to one note. I don't care. And I am the guy who used to care about every word he said, about every song he dropped, about every album he released. If Kanye West came to FedEx Forum and I could use my Grizzlies badge to sneak in the back door and stand on the front row, I wouldn't go. I'm just completely uninterested in him now. And I don't think that's a minority opinion. There is a time where Kanye West could have put this theory to the test. At like the age of 55, I'm going to go on tour and see if I could still sell out arenas and put out music that people listen to. He could have tested this, but I think that's over. I think it's over for him.
I just don't think promoters would do it. I don't. There'd be too much risk involved.
It is more likely that you wake up one day and hear the worst story you've ever heard about Kanye West than it is that he is selling out stadiums consistently. Like, he could always go to like some country where something and like do a one-off thing just for the celebrity factor of it, but he'll never be received the way he could have been received had he just avoided all of this nonsense that he can't avoid. Anyway, Will Smith's got an album out.
I'll give it a spin.
We probably already spent too much time on it, so let's just move on.
Number 4.
I had fun.
Major League Baseball opening day in the United States was yesterday. The Mets lost. Boo. Boo. But the Orioles.
Yeah. Oh, how about them O's?
So Tyler O'Neill, I didn't even realize this was a thing before yesterday.
Yeah.
But apparently, entering yesterday, he had homered in 5 straight opening days. And I guess I saw Dave Portnoy bring attention to this. Like, should we do a Tyler O'Neill anytime homer prop bet today? I think it was coming in at like plus 360. Should we do that? Just, the guy's homered in 5 straight opening days. Should we try it? And I guess a bunch of people jumped on this. And then Tyler O'Neill, he came up to the plate on opening day. And Kyra, if we could show it, let's let Bennett watch a happy moment from opening day for his Baltimore Orioles.
O'Neill drives one the other way. That's headed out toward right field. He's done it again.
Bye-bye.
The unstoppable opening day machine. Tyler O'Neill has homered for a 6th consecutive year on opening day. This time, he does it in his home country.
Look out in Burnaby.
It's pretty unbelievable.
That ball might have landed in Bernabeu. How about a backside?
Yeah, okay, so it's pretty unbelievable considering, GP, that he is
on one to the backside
like,
of the field.
He's a good player. He's a good player. He is not one of the stars of the team necessarily, right? Like there's other guys on that team that are going to hit more home runs than Tyler O'Neill does this year. I can guarantee you that. Not on opening day. So that is pretty cool. So most home runs on opening day in franchise history, by the way, yesterday.
Yeah, no, he's just a wild story out of nowhere. Meantime, Juan Soto strikes out in the ninth.
You knew this was going to be a tough series to start the season in Houston.
In Houston with Clay Holmes as your opening day starter. That's a tough ask. Hey, it's a long season, Bennett, but congratulations on your season opening win. Congratulations on Tyler O'Neill making history once again.
Number 5.
It's the wild one, buddy.
What's going on?
I'm just going to read you straight from the story.
Okay.
A New Jersey police chief. This is a wild one, Bennett. A New Jersey police chief is being accused of creating a toxic and smelly work environment by defecating on the floors at the station, spiking officers' coffee with Viagra and Aderall, sticking a hypodermic needle into the penis of a subordinate, and more. This guy's the police chief in Bergen, New Jersey. His name is Robert Farley, and he has 5 employees currently suing him. This all went public yesterday afternoon for discrimination, harassment, using racial slurs, retaliation, sexual misconduct, and a violation of civil rights. You name it, this guy has probably done it. He would take a Duke, for lack of a better word, although I'm sure there's a better word. Mm-hmm. He would take a number 2 in the floor and then put it on a piece of paper and then like autograph the piece of paper, like Chief Farley's defecation, and then just leave it there. And he thought that was funny. That was him being funny. That was him trying to make people laugh.
Of the 3 things you listed, I was trying to think of like which one's the most agree. I mean, did you say sticking a needle in someone's penis?
Yeah. No, not penis, but just into somebody. It's just, everything's a joke to him. Like everything's funny. Like, hey, wouldn't it be funny? So he was just
poking people with a needle.
Yes, everything's funny. Here's the part where I actually LOL'd when I got to this part of the story. All right? Let's see your reaction.
Okay.
It's just detailing all the things this police chief allegedly did. Here's the part of the story that stopped me. The legal complaints obtained by TMZ also accuse Farley of exposing himself to the entire office while making inappropriate comments such as, "Hey, look, it's bigger than you thought, right?"
Yeah, that's just...
Can you imagine being in a workplace in the year 2025 and somebody exposes themselves and says, "Hey, look, it's bigger than you thought, right? Ha, ha, ha." Like, I can't even... How does that happen?
Man, power will do something to people, man. It'll go to your head. Viagra and Adderall, that sounds like a lethal combo, by the way. I'm surprised someone didn't die.
I mean, that's going to give you a heart attack.
Yeah, dude. That's
pick one. Pick one or the other.
Right.
What do you want to do? Do you want to stay up and read The Great Gatsby really focused? Or do you want to get after it? Pick one. But let's not do both.
No, let's not do both. That I think that one, out of all of them, the Viagra, spiking people's coffee with Viagra and Adderall, that might be the most egregious. But I mean, I'm not trying to see anyone's poop. Like, I mean, and how do you even do that? I mean, the ball's on this guy. Like, how do you even? Like, I need privacy, man. I don't think I could just like stand up and like take a shit on the floor. You know what I mean?
It sounds tough to me too.
Yeah, like how did he even pull that off?
Yeah,
he was jacked up on Viagra and Adderall. That's why.
He might have been jacked up on Viagra and Adderall. That's a wild combination. He's lucky he didn't drop dead.
Right.
Man, what do you want to do? Do you want to study for a final, or do you want to try to do it for 45 minutes? Which one? Let's pick right now, and then we can talk about what pill we're gonna take. But we ain't taking both of these pills. All right. Let's decide what we want to do. Do we want to study, or do we want to do it? If we want to study, we're going to take that pill. We want to do it, we'll take that one. But we're not taking both at the same time. That's crazy.
No, that sounds really risky. Really risky. Yeah, I mean, this guy's probably should lose his job, I would think. I think this is grounds for termination.
Being a grown man who runs around saying it's bigger than you thought, right, is wild to me. Like, I'm trying to even think, like, who would do you have a friend in mind who would do that? You can envision it. Who would do that?
I mean, I don't want to, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus.
That is just so out of bounds, but also
yes, multiple friends that would do that. Yes.
It's bigger than you thought. It's just a wild thing to say to somebody.
At least he's confident.
At least he's walking around the office with confidence, right?
Yeah, dude.
I don't walk around the office with that same level of confidence.
I would never say that.
I wouldn't even think that. Here's the thing. I don't even think that.
Oh, I mean, okay.
Bennett, you think you're walking around with something bigger than what people think?
Like I said, I would never say that. Like, I'm not. I don't have an ego like that.
Okay, but blink twice if you think you're walking around with something that. Blink twice. Oh, okay, Bennett.
Dude, I would never say that. That is out of bounds. This guy's a jerk, man. This is a bad dude. Okay.
Okay, Bennett.
Dude. This guy's got to go. This guy's got to go.
I don't have that same level of confidence.
Me either.
I don't walk around the office with that same level of confidence. I don't walk around my house with that same level of confidence. I don't walk around my shower with that level of confidence. All right?
Yeah. No.
But you, on the other hand, sound a little bit like Chief Farley.
I'm not like Chief Farley. What a great name. But Chief Farley is such a good name. Of course, his name would be Chief Farley.
Chief Farley is wild.
Yeah.
Bennett's got a little Chief Farley in him, I see.
I don't think so.
It sounds like you might have a little Chief Farley in you. I'm going to have to keep an eye on you.
Okay.
I'm going to have to keep an eye on you. You ain't carrying around any needles,
like
are
that. I'm not carrying around any needles, no. That's the weird, like, what was it, like syringes? Was it like sewing needles? Like, what? Why are you just walking around with needles to poke people with, dude?
I don't know. Nothing about any of this makes sense to me.
No.
Like, there's not a single aspect of this where I'm like, all right, yeah, I get that. I get that part of this. None of this makes any sense to me. Chief Farley.
Shout out to Chief Farley. Actually, not shout out. You're a bad person, Chief. You got to go. Yeah.
Shout out to you, Bennett.
No.
Shout out to you, Bennett.
No. Shout out to Chief Farley, but he's got to go.
I don't walk around with that same level of confidence, but it's good to know that you do. I'm gonna have to keep my eye on you, Bennett.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep my eye on you. We'll be back. We'll be back. GP's carryout.
Touched on this earlier, the panel here, about what really has been the mainstay of the Grizzlies, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. Trip has just been awesome.
He's posting guys up. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's physical, and he's scoring all type of ways.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz Beat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
We will get into all things Grizzlies, but first and foremost, a big congratulations to the Memphis Tigers for locking up at least a share of the AAC title. First time since joining the American Athletic Conference that they are regular season conference champs.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. Bennett Doyle back in Memphis carrying around that stick. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but I think the most important, I know what I learned today.
What?
Bennett Doyle's got a new nickname. Which
is?
The chat says your new nickname's King Dingaling.
Okay.
Not bad. All things
Not
considered.
bad of a nickname, actually. That's pretty good, chat. Thank you.
I would like that. I would take that.
Yeah, that's actually good. Put it on a T-shirt.
I mean, I get called. You should just see my Twitter mentions at any given point in time. I get called all sorts of things every day. People constantly trying to give me nicknames. Never that. All right, Bennett Doyle. Good for you.
We'll take
Shame on Chief Farley. They got to get that guy under control up in New Jersey, though. That was a wild situation.
What's today's biggest game?
I'm going to take you down to Atlanta. 6:09 tip, Sweet 16. Ole Miss and Michigan State. Hey, you won again last night with Duke.
Yep.
Your record is now 207, 192, and 4. That means you're 15 games above 500. You're only negative 5.6 units, Bennett. You're on the comeback. You're on a heater right now. You're like the Oklahoma City Thunder of picking games lately. All right? So let's see what you do tonight. Ole Miss, Michigan State, 6:09 tip, CBS, America's Most Watched Network of Stars. Michigan State's a 3.5-point favorite. Total's 145.5.
Ooh, I love that. I love that half a point right there. I like that half a point a lot because I think this one's going to be tight. I don't remember what it was, but I was talking with Roser about Ole Miss the other day, and he said Chris Beard has an amazing record as an underdog. So yeah, let's go Ole Miss plus 3.5. I like that. I think we're going down to the final possession tonight.
Bennett thinks it's going to be a final possession game in Atlanta, State Farm Arena. He says take Ole Miss plus the 3.5. If they win it, Ole Miss will be in the Elite Eight of the NCAA Tournament for the first time in school history.
What are we watching on TV?
Remember that show we were talking about, The Studio? It's finally dropped on Apple TV+. First 2 episodes are out. It's 94% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It stars Seth Rogen, Che Sui Wonders, Ike Barinholtz, Catherine Hahn. I watched the first episode last night after I got done with work.
Was it good?
It's good.
I heard it's
really
great.
good.
Yeah, I really want to watch this. I'm excited to check this one out.
Like Seth Rogen famously, says he smokes weed every day.
Yeah.
And
does pottery.
That's clear. Because you can't even think of the premise of this unless you smoke pot every day. This is clearly I'm high, and this thing just popped into my head, and I wonder if we could make this work. And now it's a television show.
Now it's reality. Okay.
Now it's reality. The first episode was hilarious. I'm again 94% fresh at Rotten Tomatoes. First 2 episodes available right now. You can watch it, stream it, Apple TV Plus.
What's the best thing we've read?
Go over to CBSSports.com. We have writers at every single NCAA tournament site. So you want to read about Arkansas, we've got that. You want to read about Tennessee, we've got that. Dennis Dodd, soon to be retiring legend Dennis Dodd, has a column right now on the homepage, CBSSports.com, how the SEC grabbed control of the NCAA tournament. So go dive in, CBSSports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Next week. It's Friday.
Oh, Bennett.
Damn it.
Oh, Bennett, I had just called you the Oklahoma City Thunder. And now look.
Right
next
there.
week's going to be a big week. On Monday, the Final Four will be set, so we'll be talking about that. Looking back at Grizz Lakers, getting ready for Grizz Celtics. Fun next 3 games inside FedEx Forum. Lakers tomorrow night, Celtics on Monday night, Warriors on Tuesday. Tickets available. Grizzlies.com. Enjoy your weekend. I'm going to enjoy mine. And let's try to meet back here Monday at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.